runs a comedy show called Outside Jokes in Hawthorne, and you can check out his YouTube stand-up special in between cigarettes, but he also has 15 years of teaching experience, and I'm so excited for what we're all going to learn about the public school system from our next guest, Brinan Weeks.
Good afternoon. How are we doing today? Good? Good. Give up all the performers you've seen tonight so far. That's cool. I've had a month to prepare for this, so I'm still like nervous, right? Obviously didn't dress for the occasion, really. I feel like my style is more like ho-bohemian, you know? I can judge from the skin color. Most of you have been to school. Right? Just wanted to check everybody's socioeconomic status. So yeah, I've been doing comedy for about 15 years, and I've also been teaching for 15 years, and as you can tell, I'm good at neither, right? Okay, so I don't have to talk to you about like the ills of the education system. We all see it on the news, right? Failing schools, the violence, and low teachers' pay. It doesn't seem like it's worth it, right? I don't know, a little bit about my background first before you like judge my outward appearance. And be like, this guy's in school? Like, okay. I got my undergrad at Siena. It was in upstate New York, and I taught at the Social Justice Center in Albany. And I got my master's at USC through like a multicultural umbrella program called MAT at USC, right? And I was always told, to be a revolutionary, to change the system within, be subversive. And I'm here to tell you, it kind of sucks, okay? It sucks. Yeah, it sucks, it really does. Because children are horrible people. They never show that shit. I mean, they do kind of in all those teacher movies, like Lean on Me and like Sister Act 2, Children of the Corn. You know what I mean? They show what children are, but kids are hard. Does anybody here have kids? Yeah. You got one? All right. 2, 3, poor decisions, and you're living with your mistakes? Okay, great. I'm just kidding. I don't have kids, and I refuse to have kids because of teaching, okay? At least I can give them back at 3 o'clock, it's like, I have 8 hours of custody a day, it's nice. But when you teach, you realize how horrible people are, right? Because all of those people grow up to be worse than they were. I'm so progressive, I think abortion should be legal until age 11. All right, that's I don't know. So my first year of teaching, I was a sub. I was a district sub in Albany, New York, and I was thrown right into the trenches, right? They say a lot about teachers, but teaching is a lot like being a soldier, you know what I mean? Like, you get everything, it's, the shootings, right? And the PTSD that comes after that, I have to always psych myself up every morning, like, I'm, at the sink like G.I. Jane, you know what I'm saying? Just like, I've never seen a wild thing feel sorry for itself. Okay. I Googled that quote right before I got up here. But yeah, teaching, I realized very early you have to be a cool sub. Right? You have to be the cool sub, or you get your ass kicked. And so I was a cool sub for about 4 years. And my last year there, I told a class of first graders that Christopher Columbus was a murderer. And that's where they drew the line. It was Columbus Day weekend, and I was on Facebook at the time. It was like 2010, how fucking... It was very Cambridge Analytica, and I was like really psyched up about it. Like, I'm gonna tell him to die. And then when I was escorted to the principal's office, she had like a single sheet of paper there, and it was from one of these parents who was friends with the superintendent. and her little Johnny was having night terrors about Christopher Columbus. And my response was, good! Why are we celebrating? So I got canned. I got canned from the district, and I had to pick up the pieces. And so I was working as a test corrector for New Hampshire state exams for English for 8 hours a day in some weird like assembly room place, and I just had to move a mouse for click, 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 1 through 4 for 8 hours a day. I lost my mind after 2 weeks. And I was sitting next to this lesbian couple that had this job together, and one of them suggested me to look at the free school. The free school. And the free school is this kind of cooperative collective in Albany, New York. It's been around since like 1949, right? So it's like really old, and it's all about this way left of Montessori. Like you thought Montessori, whoa! Right? We grow our own food, you eat your own food, you don't have to wear shoes, there's no desks. What are you? You can just wash your hands. Like it was crazy. I basically raised Burning Man. Like it's a very interesting study because children develop at their own rate anyway, regardless of whether or not. I mean, you've been to school. It fucking sucked, right? School sucked. Can you imagine a place that really didn't have any rules and you were given all the creative tools you wanted and told to just go crazy, right? If you just went crazy, anything you wanted to learn, you could just learn it. I'm like, it would be a person, an adult, that would be like, okay, let's talk about it. What do you want to do? And just having that freedom. I did that for 7 years, and I got to teach kindergarten. All right, kid, you understand how magical that age is, right? 6 years old is the most magical age because it's like they're in that weird in-between space of like, their imagination and reality. So it's like being an adult there, I could wear like butterfly wings one day, be like, oh my God, I'd throw a glitter, be like, oh my God, it's so magical. You want to learn about math? They're like, fuck yeah, I want to learn about math. And they can go brag about it to their friends and shit. Like, it was super cool, man. I did weird lesson plans. Like, I took apart electronics that I found by a dumpster. Like, that was cool shit. Like, you just had to, because you're only paid about $200 a week, okay? For as a private school, it's the cheapest private school. So yeah, I moved from there to the sister school out here in Culver City called Play Mountain Place. And I taught there for 5 years. And that, definitely Burning Man adjacent, let me tell you. Like, it's okay, but the difference between the free school was in the hood, and the Play Mountain Place is in Culver City. So it's very different, very different for me, because I was like always looking over my shoulder, just be like a nice person jogging, I still have that G.I. Jane PTSD from all the And I don't know, it's just, LA kids are very different. They're like, oh, I don't eat cheese. Like gluten allergy. And I come from New York, and it's just all this like militancy over there about social justice. So I'm like, what are you white kids doing? We're just having fun in the sun. Like, it's just. So yeah. Now, post-pandemic, because the pandemic hit, right, I had to teach over Zoom, right? And imagine what the fuck teaching kindergarten over Zoom would look like, right? This is the letter A. Can you put your dick away? I made an adult! Get your kid! It's fucked up, man. Zoom. Teaching over Zoom, like, because I couldn't see my kids, right? Like, most of the time, it's just like this big, happy fucking time, and then just to see the misery being trapped behind a screen, Yeah, the pandemic definitely showed us that school isn't necessary, right? I mean, when we got back, and children were feral when we got back indoors. We realized that parents just didn't know how to be a parent, right? Like, it just really showed everybody's true colors. All the trauma that happened in the house by the time. Oh, thanks so much. Okay. Man, I wrote so many bits. And thank you guys for letting me just go off on a tangent. That's cool. All right, I'll wrap up with my current career. So I taught over Zoom, yada, yada, yada. And then the school halved its staff, so I had to find a new gig. And so I joined a subbing agency, and I actually got locked into a long-term job at a charter school in South Central. I don't know if you've seen them. They kind of look like the prisons on season 2 of The Wire. The ones with the giant gates and big long pavement, they get 23 in 1. You know what I'm talking about? I teach in a little Mexican school in South Central. To paint you a picture, I say Mexican because I am the tallest person there. Okay? And we're about this big. Feels like Gulliver's Travels in Guadalajara. All right. And the first week I was working there, me and a coworker decided to look up all the sex offenders in the area. Because you want to be safe, right? Turns out 400 in a 5-mile radius, right? And there's an asterisk on a few of them that says in transit. So there's a bunch of like free-range sex offenders right around Los Angeles. So every day at the gate during dismissal around 3:30, I just open it up, I let him out, and I go, run! It's right behind you! Because most of my students are Black and Latino, I will not have the satisfaction of dying in a school shooting, all right? They don't even know what an AR-15 is. They just have handguns, and I can walk that off. But yeah, you know, violence in schools and school shootings and everything like that. If I ever make the news for getting shot at school, I just want you to know I didn't want that. Okay. To be the shield for these ungrateful bastards? He died doing what he loved. I'd be in hell screaming about that. Right? That is the last way I want to die. All right? I want to die like every other comedian, you know, with a rope around my neck in some weird hotel room, right? I can't leave you on that one. I hope this guy's okay. I've overstepped my time. Okay, really? Okay, one more. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. So, what really colored my experience at school, I grew up in upstate New York. My mom calls it Little Alabama, right? But they have more guns than teeth. And the first time I was called the N-word, I'm half black and half white. The first time I was called the N-word was in 3rd grade. It was by the water fountain where most civil rights activities take place. It was by this white kid named George Schiffer coming up behind me like a little racist Dennis the Menace. He's like, my daddy says you need to go back there. And he's pointing to this map of Africa behind the water fountain, right? He's like, my daddy says you need to go back there. And the other one, niggeria. And I was like, wait, first of all, it's Nigeria. And second of all, niggeria sounds like a weird racist vacation destination. Or like Hennessy with fruit in it. Or like a weird Italian fusion restaurant. Like, it's a niggeria, and you're like, oh, it's Alfredo sauce and mac and cheese. Shit, it's delicious. So I learned 3 things that day. 1, geography and racism are not mutually exclusive. 2, pronunciation is important. And 3, how to fight because I whooped that cracker's ass. All right.